I do think there is some magic in finding the first 100 who you really can serve well.
Podium is built very customer centric. How do you scale the feedback in terms of priorities?
We have like a bit of a matrix to see, like there are different metrics.
Welcome to Gotham, the podcast where entrepreneurs compare notes on building businesses that last. I'm your host, Tam Nguyen, an entrepreneur who's run and built ventures across Vietnam and Singapore for the past decade. So grab your notebook and let's exchange some few notes on the entrepreneurial journey. On this episode, our guest is Mai Vo. She is an ex-big tech turned founder of Podium, a women community that support women through their big transitions in their 30s and 40s. She spent the first year finding product market fit by serving 100 customers right. How did she do it? Built a community that women are willing to pay to be there. Let's find out. Hi Mai, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here as one of our first guests.
Yay!
Thank you for, taking your time off today for coming here. How are you feeling today?
Great in the day.
Yes.
And I feel like it's full circle moment to be on your podcast now.
Yes.
After we got to know each other and build our businesses in the last few years. So I'm really excited. Thanks for having me.
Now we're gonna dive right into our theme today, which is built for the first 100.
Yeah.
Right? And 100 here is the first 100 clients, customer profile that you are building into. Today we're gonna chat about that.
Yeah.
Before we get into all the details, let's start with a little introductions of how's your journey so far in this business that you're building?
Yeah, so I'm building Podium, which is a connection platform for women, all about supporting the different transitions that we go through as modern women and ensuring that we step out of our bubbles to find others who are looking for creative paths in work, motherhood if we choose it, and in life. So we started at the very beginning, my co-founder and I just started by wanting a community for ourselves, really, because we were navigating our own career transitions. So I used to be in big tech for the majority of my career, including 5 years at Google. So first and foremost, I was building this company and the community for myself. And we started off firstly just by inviting our friends after I met my co-founder through the network. And we decided we both wanted to try something for women, but we didn't know what. And it just started really organically. And then next thing you know, we've done 60 plus different events, usually very intimate gatherings for different women from different walks of life in Singapore. And that was all within 12 months. And now we have launched a subscription business, entering into more of a membership model and enabling deeper and more meaningful connections between the 150 members that we have today. So the journey so far, honestly, has been very fulfilling. I think because I built this for myself, I really saw myself in a lot of the women who were coming to our experiences, and I was really solving for us as a collective. So that's kind of my journey and where we're at with Podium.
Can you take me back to that first event that you host?
Yep.
Like, who was there? Why did you choose them specifically to invite? And then what was how was the view and what was the theme about that makes you feel okay, there's something, worth pursuing?
Yeah. So the whole premise, I guess, was just realizing that as women in our 20s to 40s, we're navigating very big things, and constantly many of us are trying to improve ourselves and be better people to kind of tackle the different challenges that we're facing. And we found the people just through luck, really. I was just asking around like, hey, I'm doing this, do you want to come? So comfortable, cozy, but also very nerve-wracking because it was our first event and we were like running around. And one of the saboteurs actually is hyper-vigilant And it just means that you're like always scanning for like dangers and what's going wrong. Usually I don't really have that saboteur, but when I was doing the first few events, my goodness, I was so hyper vigilant, you know? I was like, is the room too cold? Is it too warm? Is there enough food? Like, you know, but really like constantly scanning to make sure everyone was having the best time possible. And so that was very exhausting. But after the workshop, wow, the feedback that we got, and we made sure to get feedback.
Yeah.
The feedback that we got was like, okay, we're onto something here. Like people really found this useful. They found it like it was a bit of self-care and like for themselves to reconnect in a very busy week that they had. And so almost by chance, we then stumbled across this realization that, yeah, a lot of us, even though we're different, are navigating similar things, and we should get together more often to talk about what's happening.
Yeah, I think for Podium, and this is from my experience as a like member, right?
Yeah.
And yes, my impression was also, oh wow, like this is very, very intimate. Very different from my experience of Singapore networking event, and even Vietnam.
Yeah.
So as someone who goes to a lot of networking, like in both space, in both country, I find that Singapore networking event is it's very hard to get into and get connected with Singaporean or the people there, in my opinion. And I found, interestingly, in your event, it's the first time that I felt that, okay, everyone here is really enjoying themselves and they are willing to see each other after the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And willing to take their mask off in front of each other.
Yes,
because
correct.
I think, to your point, a lot of networking events, of course you go with like your, you know, biggest, like boldest version of yourself, but sometimes it might not be the most authentic version that we see. So yeah.
But one thing I found fascinating of how you guys were doing and building Podium is that how eagerly you guys were taking feedback. And you are aggressive in a way.
Very aggressive.
Yes, to like just ask people, please give us a feedback.
Yes.
Right? And I found that's fascinating. Did you ever feel like, you know, you scared of that if the feedback is going to be bad?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still scared to this day, but I have to push through it because, so we decided to bootstrap this company and not take any external funding, and we did it very organically at the beginning, right? But we always made a point to take this much feedback because we felt that we had the luxury of really understanding what the people who were coming to us needed, and we had the time to do that. Because say if I went for like raising money earlier on, not saying that necessarily we could have, but just saying, you know, like if we're choosing between the paths, if we had external pressure and external investors, then we probably wouldn't be so lucky to be able to take this much feedback and also take the time to act on it.
And why was feedback so important to you guys?
For us, we just knew that we wanted to build something that wasn't just a nice to have, but like more of a must have. And in order to know if it's really a must have, you absolutely have to get feedback, right? Because of course you can be in the room and everyone can seem like they're having a good time, or these days we're matching people through a platform, right? It might look nice on the surface, but unless we get that feedback from everyone, we don't really know how it's going and if there's any real impact. And then the direction that we could go into would be very murky. Whereas I think because we've always taken so much feedback and taken the time to like look at the feedback and act on it, not saying we're perfect, by the way, and not saying we can act on all the feedback, but we prioritize the most important things and most impactful things. Because we're able to do that, I think that's why we have been able to have a following that has led to what I'm proud of, like 150 members who are, you know, have committed to a quarterly membership with us. It's still a very small number in the grand scheme of things, but I do think there is some magic in finding the first 100 who you really can serve well, and then using that as a base to then grow from, rather than you're trying to grow and you're trying to figure out how to serve your customers. Yeah.
So your Podium is built very customer centric.
Yes.
So feedback is how you guys are doing it. How do you scale the feedback in terms of, you know, priorities?
We, I guess, have like a bit of a matrix to see, you know, like firstly, how many people in the community, how many of our users is this piece of feedback impacting, or how much of it are we getting, and how much of the experience would it improve? So we really just try and prioritize. Because we can't get through everything, but we want to get through the important things, and we will slow down enough to get through the important things for now. How else we do it is, well, we take feedback in different forms, right? So there are different metrics, like Net Promoter Score, that kind of indicate if someone is likely to refer you to someone. I think that's a good indicator for, say, your potential to grow. And yes, also the value that you bring.
Is that scoring is the standard score that you guys are based off, or it's more of on a scale of 10?
Yeah, on a scale of 10, like how likely are you to refer this to a friend? But then you also have other types of feedback that we've collected, which is more around customer satisfaction. Yeah. And that's a bit less about how likely they are to recommend, and thus maybe your ability to grow, but really like how satisfied they are with this product. There's like different ways to ask things, and we've toyed around with that as well, just to get as much like 360, I think, understanding of where our different offerings are. I think I came from Google, which is also very like, they try to be very, very data driven, right? And all of these practices, like I saw at a large scale company, but then now that we're a small scale company, I can really actually implement very quickly. Whereas I feel like sometimes with those big companies, yes, they have so much data, but in order to change something, there's like many approval processes. So I guess I learned the structure from a big company, but also trying to apply it at speed now. Yeah,
that's awesome. I think that's the benefit of if you're working from corporate or like a structured organizations, you get a lot of value of how things are run, and then you can actually apply it to your own stuff in a much faster scale.
You know, I think there's a balance though, right? As in, I do think when you're creating something new, sometimes people don't even know what they want because it's very different to what they know. So in that case, if you take too much feedback and you let it, you know, really only that shape you, then maybe you'll be just the same as all the others on the market, right? So I think a bit of intuition is always needed, and of course we still rely on that as well.
I mean, yes, you brought up a good point, because there's a saying in Vietnamese, right? 9 người 10 ý. If there's 9 people, there are 10 opinions.
Yes.
So how do you, if you're taking those 10 opinions and you apply it immediately, then it becomes đéo cày giữa đường. You know that story?
Yes.
Where you're just someone that's just making a wooden thing in the middle of the street, and then he takes opinions of every single one that passed by, and then the end product is not there.
Yeah. I think this as well goes back to the point of like which feedback you prioritize. So it can be by looking at the feedback itself, and like I was saying, looking at the impact, but you also can start to, if you are taking feedback, look at the different personas, like customer personas and profiles and types of people that are coming to you and the types of feedback that they're giving, and also then identify who you want to make your main, you know, ideal customer, and really prioritize their feedback too, right? So a few ways you can cut it. But also if you were having like the sales numbers and stuff, I mean, that's also very data driven, right? Of course. So it's not like you're going blind and just shoving product in people's faces. I think there's different ways in different industries do it differently.
How is it now that you guys moving towards building beyond the first 100 customers?
We had like a retreat at one point as well. We're having another retreat, and yes, the like coven, like mastermind groups that we matched. But now is the first 100, I would say, for a subscription product. So then it's about delivering more of a journey for someone to go through, beyond just that one event that we used to get them to attend. So our thinking is very different, and I think we're now at the stage of building for the first 100 in this next phase. So still very much in the middle of it, still taking all the feedback that we can, and then trying to, you know, prioritize. But I think it's also like the mindset shift from selling something that's like a one-off, and people might come back, but it's not like recurring revenue, a recurring user that they sign up to be, to now thinking about, okay, if they're gonna sign up for a quarterly membership and it renews every quarter, we need to deliver value every single quarter for us to have the privilege of continuing to serve them. That's like a big mindset shift as well.
I see. And I think you guys are, from what I've noticed on the app itself, you guys starting to share your own building journey and your learning, etc.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Opening up to your learning and your failures.
Yeah, so basically what happened was, as we started to onboard these 150 women onto our membership quarterly subscription, we started to realize that this is a lot harder than we thought, and there's a lot more to do than we thought. Even though I would say we had what you would call product market fit for our like more one-off experiences, doing this is different, and we're really having to put ourselves out there and be a bit vulnerable, because we do also rely a little bit right now on people who believe in the vision to come along on the journey, because we're in that transition, that messy middle of switching as a company, you know, how we operate and how we serve our members. And we're still trialing and testing a few things. And so, yes, I've had to be a lot more, my co-founder and I have had to be a lot more open with the members themselves, giving weekly updates like on building Podium, you know, here's what we learned from your feedback last week, and this is what we're changing in the coming weeks. Or heads up, you know, this is the direction that we're going in, just being very communicative with our members, because we know it's a bumpy time right now as well. I'm definitely very proud of the experience that we offer. It's just we set such a high bar for ourselves. And so we know that there's still a long way to go, right? And so in order to have people come with you, you need to show them where you're going rather than kind of hide and just pretend that it's all normal. And, you know, we're admitting that we're learning things for the first time, doing things for the first time, using a third-party platform that maybe isn't the most optimal going forward. But at this point in time, we have to rely on something at this scale, and just being open about that so that people feel invested as well in giving us feedback and, you know, helping us, because we need our customers' support to get to where we want to go.
I guess I'm starting to experience that vulnerability. So my space is in the B2B, where basically we build products for business. And I think the kind of like the standards in the business is you have to show your best, right? You need to be the one that know your shit, so that people would buy, because it's a company that buying for you. But then, because, you know, now we are expanding overseas, and where nobody knows us. So what I'm experiencing is that I feel I need to build a little bit on the trust side, of a personal side, so people could connect with that in order to buy my B2B products. So I experienced something similar where, you know, I've been building and creating, you know, online content, like maybe a behind the scenes video once a week, and every single week I feel that kind of like I don't know if I want to share what I'm going through right now. It takes a lot of gut just to lay it out there. Like I imagine a good analogy for this is probably like that duck graphic, like that image where you know the duck is on the lake, and he would like, it looks really calm, it's going, and then underneath, you know, paddle really hard to stay afloat. I feel comfortable in being a duck, but transitioning into a more vulnerable situation where I'm more like a butterfly, where, you know, when you are still in a cocoon, you are vulnerable to everything, and when you push out, you become beautiful, but it's the process, right?
True. I love that.
Transitioning between the two is definitely still learning for me.
But you know what? I also just thought that in this day and age, with AI obviously impacting so many industries, things are moving so fast. I don't think any company can claim to know everything and be perfect and whatever, right? So I think there is space to be appropriately open about the things you're still improving, the things you're still learning, because actually everyone is. It's just some people are upfront about it and others are not.
For the first model of Podium was for the first 100 customer. And now you guys are going to the tech-enabled model with a new 150 clients. do you feel like there's difference between the two? Are you serving different people?
I think there's a lot of differences, both in, I would say, how we're approaching things and in what people are starting to expect of us that's differently. But so far, the type of people who are coming have still been, I would say, quite values aligned. So I wouldn't say we've like gone for a totally different audience. And a lot of the 150 came from our base of a few hundred that were coming to our events. But of course, only time will tell, because once we kind of feel more comfortable with the current model that we have for the membership, then we will also scale beyond this. Because we believe that it shouldn't be up to, you know, if I can physically host something as to whether or not this company will continue. It shouldn't be so constrained on me and my co-founder, right? We want to move it beyond us. This has to live beyond us, and it has to deliver value, maybe more in a peer-to-peer way, and having structures and frameworks that allow the community to come together without it being like based on our time constraints. So that's why we're also wanting to scale. We think that eventually it will be a better, you know, impact and value for the members. But of course, it's still gonna be an up and down journey to get there. So I think we just gotta stay open and try our best and show that we're trying our best. And if we have gaps in our knowledge, just show what we're doing to plug those gaps.
That's interesting. So you mentioned that you guys are bootstrapping it. You guys haven't taken any investment yet. Coming from tech industry, which, you know, full of investor and money floating around, why do you choose that direction?
We wanted to build something that's very community focused. And
why can't community have investor?
Not at the very beginning, because I think having external influence and like investors and stakeholders will inevitably push you to probably grow more quickly than you're ready for, as you're still figuring out how to really serve your community and then carve out, you know, how you are really offering value to them in a way that's different to whatever else is out there. I think it's also like a very new time to be in this space. So I see us really in the like social connection, social and professional networking space. And that space used to be served by, you know, companies like Facebook when they used to be social networks, but now they're just social media. And I think there is a huge gap in allowing very meaningful connection to happen between people, especially the ones that will translate offline. And it's a new wave of companies that's building this, and so there's a lot to figure out. It's probably going to take us a lot of time, right? There's no proven playbook or model that we're just like adapting. And so raising money too early probably would mean that the runway the timeline that we need to figure things out in is even shorter. And that might lead us to really going after other KPIs such as growth before we're ready. Like, we're 14 months in right now, and we're still talking about the first 100. I know for sure I wouldn't be here if I had taken money, if I had had the luxury to do so, you know? So it's just different timelines.
I think just to put in a perspective for the audience, so I also have the chance when I was doing my previous podcast and also hanging out with a lot of tech startup scenes in Vietnam, is that to take VC money, you really bring people that might not have the same objective as you are, because investor, let's say it's different, like angel investors, sometimes they are believing in your product and they want you to success because of your mission. That is more, I would say that is closer to your value compared to a VC, because VC pure objective is to make money for their investor. And there's also something called a term, a cycle. So basically what it means is that VC usually take money from investor, and they would usually promise a certain return within 10
at a
years.
multiple.
At a multiple for like about 10 to 15 years, right? But usually 10 years. So that means if you take money from VC, at the beginning of their term cycle, they will be a bit more lax about, okay, you can try a lot of things, right? But then towards the middle and towards the end of their cycle means that they need to get that return immediately.
The heat is on.
Yeah, so they're gonna push you harder and harder in terms of their return.
Yeah.
So one trick for startup founders down there as well is that if you ever consider VC money, ask them how long do they have in their term cycle, in their cycle.
That's
fun cycle, not term cycle.
Good question to ask.
Yeah.
But it's also a privilege to bootstrap, right? Like I understand as well, like the type of business that we're in was not very capital intensive at the beginning at all. We were selling tickets to events and people came and that's our revenue, right?
Yeah.
If we needed to build a tech product, especially a very like high tech product at the beginning, of course there's no way we could have bootstrapped. So I understand for certain industries, like that path is almost like a given.
I don't know.
You don't think?
I don't think so. When we did tech for 10 years, bootstrapping.
True.
Yeah, because I think because if you trying to find the profit market fit within the first 100 clients and you found it, chances are you have people that are paying money to get your products.
Yeah.
So the economy of scale here is that how many people you can serve at the same time, and if you are already like profitable, you can take as long as you need to acquire the rest of the market.
Yeah.
I don't think if you're in a market that if you need a lot of really fast to get it to win the market share and then to stay there, I think that means that there will be a lot of competitors that are trying to come in and jump in. Yeah.
But you do need some like starting capital, right? So
Still,
in order to bootstrap, regardless of industry, you need some source of funds, whether it is your own or like your bank or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I guess because for some time, like VC money was just like everywhere,
accessible.
that it almost became the default way to start a business for people, especially of our generation, when it shouldn't be. It should be one of the options, and it can be a great option, just like know what you're getting into if that's the path that you choose.
Yep, correct. I think this year I have spoken to quite a few startup founders that tell after they raised millions already and they're like, I'm not gonna have a VC back startup ever again. So
one and
done. Well, we're not here to bash VC money because they have the purpose.
Yes, I mean we wouldn't have many companies that we rely on like Grab, right, without VCs. But just know what you're getting into.
Yeah, and know that it is possible to not have that much money and still gonna be a sustainable business.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll be here for the next decade plus because I've always been a community builder, even outside of my 9 to 5, even as a person. I genuinely get so much joy from connecting different people in my life, and now I get to connect awesome women with each other. Like genuinely, I get a lot of happiness from this, and it's within my skill sets as well. But then it just requires me to perform in a very sustainable way so I don't burn out, because I think the risk of being super passionate is that you absolutely can burn yourself to the ground if you're not careful. So I hope to be in this space for the next decade. Yes.
Yeah. And I think if you have a business or a vision of building in something long term, it also take off certain pressure of trying to successful within the first year.
Yes.
I think that is a very good way to control your expectations in general.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely a marathon, right? It's not a sprint. Like you have some marathon, and whoever stay until 10, like the first 1 or 2 years, nobody knows you. 3 years, people probably know who you are, but by the 10th year, people come to you to do the thing that you do.
Yes. True. Good thing to keep reminding myself every single week. It's a marathon.
Yeah. Well, I hope that Podium will grow even more. I'm blessed to be one of the founding members.
Yes, we're blessed.
Yeah, I love how it is. Very feminine. I would say that, like very intimate. Yeah, and you guys have this certain magic where you guys can help women come together, really support each other without any guard and walls between.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Well,
thank you for being the one that breaking the walls
Thank you.
for all of us.
Thank you for
adults.
being part of it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the first episode of Gotham podcast.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you so much. And if people would like to learn more, follow your journey building Podium, or even become Podium member themselves, how can they find you?
Come find me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Mai Vo, and if you type in Podium, you will find me. Very happy to respond if someone sends me a message there.
All right.
Yeah.
And Podium is Podium.
Yes.
And
Podium.
your handle is Maivo.
I think it's actually Mai Lien.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
the
anyway, you
name
can
is-
search
yeah.
Mai Vo and Podium.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much, Mai.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. And that's a wrap for the
Cool.
first episode of Gotham.
Yay!